Freestyle Travel. Hey everybody, I'm your host Kenny Flannery. This is the Freestyle Travel Show. This episode is going to be about getting your stuff stolen, trying to avoid it and dealing with it. Talking into an inferior microphone for your podcast after yours gets stolen with your laptop. That's where I'm at right now. Yeah. I was hitchhiking from Nagpur to Hyderabad. That went really well. That's where I left you on the last episode. Actually, the couch surfer I stayed with was super cool. Went to a bunch of good places to eat food and hung out, met a bunch of his friends. After a few days, he dropped me off at the south side of the city to hitchhike. And that day went well, actually. I got picked up by a guy on a motorbike, and he actually asked me what my story was, kind of, and then said he wasn't going far, but maybe he could still kind of help. Turns out he worked for a travel company and kind of did a bunch of their video work and invited me to come to the office to kind of talk to his boss so he could film that for like a little interview. And that maybe they could help or something, help me get to Hyderabad, maybe. I don't know. So I was like, whatever, sounds like fun. So did that, went and talked to his boss, who was super cool. They're working on an app called AirHob. It's like a flight search, but it shows how many frequent flyer miles you'll get with every flight that you book, which I guess is pretty unique. Maybe no one else is doing that or doing it well. So that's what they're working on. But anyways, talked to him. I guess he filmed this interview, and then they offered to get me a overnight ticket to Hyderabad, which was super cool. I just hung out in the office, and yeah, I just kind of chilled out. Got the bus, then I went to Hyderabad, and Hyderabad also was fine. Ate a bunch of good food there too. Stayed with some really cool couch surfing hosts. Then also met up with a friend of a friend who was pretty cool, and he was getting me inspired to start hitting up YouTube a lot more. I used to do a lot more videos on there. You can go to youtube.com/hobo-lifestyle. You'll see some of that, but it got to be a little bit tedious to do. But after talking to this guy, I'm kind of motivated to get started again, which is funny because hitchhiking out of Hyderabad, got my laptop stolen, which makes that a little bit more difficult. So that story, all right. Was walking out of Hyderabad, got a couple rides from motorbikes to the south, and then I got picked up by this truck. And the guy seemed pretty cool. He had a cold beer that he let me finish. So if you're in the camp of don't drink and drive with heavy machinery, it doesn't sound like a great story, but if you're in the camp of getting free beer, so far this ride is going pretty good. And, we even stopped and he got us lunch, and his English was not good at all. He had, a couple keywords that he could say, but not enough to have a true conversation of any kind. So we're going really slow. I'm on my way to Bangalore at this point, which is where I'm recording this now, and apologize for the quality of this. Like I said, microphone got stolen. So anyways, we stopped at a checkpoint and we both had to get out of the truck and walk away from the truck. And then there were all these like tents with computers set up, and I don't know, all the trucks were stopping there. And at one point he went back to the truck for 5 or 10 minutes while I waited, and he came back and got all the paperwork stuff done, whatever. We hopped back in the truck, and then maybe 10, 20 minutes down the road, he pointed at a sign with a different city name, and he's like, that's where I'm going, and Bangalore straight. And I'd kind of been under the impression that he was going all the way to Bangalore, but like I said, communication wasn't pristine, so I'm like, all right, so thanked him, and it's dark at this point, hopped out of the truck and took my backpack off to just put my water bottle back in there, and I noticed it kind of felt light, and when I put it down, I noticed that my rain jacket was kind of popping out of the external pocket there, and I'm like, that's fucking fishy. So opened up the pack real quick and fished around, and I only have 3 kind of bags within my backpack. There's the stuff sack with my sleeping bag. There's the Ziploc bag full of my clothes. Then a catch-all bag for food and a few other things. And the last one is a big old Ziploc bag that I have my laptop in, and that was noticeably missing. And at this point, he had driven completely away, totally out of sight. It was gone. That was a shitty feeling. I mean, all my files were backed up on Google Drive and elsewhere, so I didn't lose any files. I've had that computer for a long time, that laptop, like over 5 years, maybe 6 or 7 or 8 even. It's lasted me a good while. But yeah, it's pretty bummed. And then just thinking, like, what else did he take, and what else was in that Ziploc? Like, obviously the charger for the phone. I realized later that my adapter, just a tiny little adapter for European plugs, that was in there. Kind of a hassle. And the microphone that I use for this podcast, that was in there. It's the thing about getting stuff stolen from you. It's just, you're violated, and you're also thinking, like, what else did they take? And luckily, that seems to be the only thing. I'm still racking my brain if there are any other, like, papers or anything in there. It's frustrating. So that night, I started walking. I got one quick ride from a motorbike, and then another ride from a guy who ended up taking me to his pastor's home, Christian guy, and they put me up for the night, slept on the roof, filled me full of food and tea. Really, really nice. Kind of funny, but just really nice. And next morning, he introduced me to a bunch of his friends, and they're all sympathetic to my laptop getting stolen and wanting to help somehow, and just drank a lot of coffee that day. But then they actually put me on a bus to Bangalore. Really nice group of people. And yeah, here I am in Bangalore, just trying to put the pieces together. The laptop, it's a funny thing. Like I said, I've had it for a long time, and at times I've wanted to get rid of it, or I've thought about it. Like, if you're thinking of traveling with a laptop, I usually recommend people don't travel with a laptop, but it is just because phones are so good is the point. So why carry a laptop? There are certain things like writing where a laptop is good, but you can even get by without that with a fold-up Bluetooth keyboard that connects to your phone, and it's pretty good for writing. But the other things my laptop was good for that a phone just quite isn't good enough to do are video editing, audio editing, and programming, and web design kind of things. And there's options on phones, but it's nowhere near as good as having a laptop as powerful. So even though I've thought about it over the years, I've even traveled without it for short amounts of time, tried to. Yeah, it seems like a necessity for some of the things that I do. And yeah, kind of a bummer, but it's gone. It is what it is. So I figured this would be a good time to do this episode. And again, I apologize for the quality. I'll do the best I can to clean it up, make it listenable. But yeah, figured it'd be a good episode for talking about muggings and pickpocketing and robbing, and how to protect yourself against it, and how to deal with it once it happens, if it happens. I did have a similar situation happen to me. Similar in the way that I got some stuff stolen from me, but different. It was a proper mugging. Hitchhiking in Peru, I got picked up by 3 guys. This is about 2 years ago. And while we were driving down the road, 2 of them kind of jumped me, and I ended up taking my phone, my wallet, and went through my bag. And at that time, I had no bank account, or my PayPal account was the card had expired, so I just stupidly had $2,000 in cash on me. And they took all that, so it was definitely worse, that situation. Because I spend anywhere from $2,000 to maybe $6,000 in a whole year, so that was a pretty big burn for me that time. definitely worse than this time around. And luckily at that time, I had left my laptop with a friend in Florida just to test out traveling without it. And at that time, I wasn't really working on any video projects or anything, so figured I'd try. So I was lucky that time that I didn't have the laptop and it didn't get stolen. But yeah, obviously losing all that cash and my phone was way worse. So yeah, things are kind of maybe coming together. I have some amazing friends and family and readers and listeners across all the stuff that I do. And this all kind of coincided with my birthday as well. Happy birthday to me. Lost my junk. So yeah, I just have these amazing people in my life, and it looks like I might be able to get the money together to get a replacement here pretty soon, actually. Maybe to the point where the next episode I'll actually be talking in a legitimate microphone, and hopefully get this all sorted by the time I get to Dubai. I'll be in Dubai in like a week, a little more than a week. So hopefully, if anyone else wants to, you can PayPal me at hobolifestyle@gmail.com. Don't feel like you have to or anything, but if you want to support the show, support the writing, support my travels or anything, that's a good way to do it. Also, I guess in that vein, I'm an Amazon affiliate. So on hobolifestyle.com and freestyletravelshow.com, there's Amazon banners and then actually a whole page of gear that I suggest on hobolifestyle.com if you go to the gear page. But all those Amazon links and cool stuff that I link to, if you click through, I get a commission for anything purchased on there. It doesn't cost people buying stuff anything more. It's just how their program works. Even if you click through on like a water filter link and then end up buying like a Grateful Dead CD or whatever, still get a commission. So I don't know, it's one more way that I kind of make money online. But yeah, anyways, figured I'd talk about trying to avoid this kind of stuff. So I figure the main ways you can kind of get screwed over while traveling are getting mugged, like, physically getting, held down or threatened, knife point or gun point or something. The other obvious one is pickpocketing. And then the final one is kind of just getting robbed like this. Like, it's similar to pickpocketing, but it's more like leaving your stuff somewhere and then having someone rummage through and take it. Just kind of raw theft. And, I guess there's other forms of theft like digital identity theft or whatever. I'm not going to get into that, at least not in this episode. Maybe down the road with someone else, that'd be a cool episode. But I just wanted to talk about those three main things because those are the three main ways you might get screwed over. So, yeah. The first one, since it's so recent, let's just call it rummage stealing, like getting robbed when you're, not paying attention, not necessarily pickpocketing. It's a tough one. I've already had some conversations about this exact experience and how to maybe avoid it. And sort of the obvious suggestion is, and this being like when you're hitchhiking and you leave your stuff in the car or truck, how to deal with that. And, the obvious suggestion is if you stop at a truck stop or whatever to like just bring your stuff with you. But that's just, you're just losing trust that way. I don't know. I just feel like it'd just be too weird to every time you make a bathroom break or whatever, you're basically just saying like, hey, thanks for the ride, but I don't trust you. I'm going to bring my entire backpack with me. So this is just not the way I want to live. I've kind of made this life that I have by trusting people in general. And yeah, obviously, like, it doesn't work out every time, but it just makes life better. So I think a middle ground to this might be to have maybe just like a tiny little day pack with sort of a water bottle as the main feature of it. Like, so that way it's like a little more nonchalant. So maybe if you have just a little pack with if you have a laptop or a tablet or an easy thing to steal, to kind of take a little bag with you when you do go to the bathroom, and just sort of have a water bottle hanging out as like more of a reason. I guess it's like just socially, it's more of a thing that would be easier for a girl with like a purse kind of thing. Not that I don't know how many girls travel with like a big old purse, but it would make more sense that, yeah, you get out of the car, you bring your purse with you. Same kind of thing. If you have just a little day pack, maybe it's not as obvious that you're afraid that they're going to steal from you and, offend them, but also keep your important stuff with you. So that's kind of what I'd suggest, but to avoid it. But the other element to this is just obscuring your stuff in your bag, which would kind of help prevent this thing from happening. Like, cash is so easy to hide. That's the beauty of cash. Like, obviously, when I got burned for $2,000, you shouldn't have $2,000. I shouldn't have had that much money on me. I just kind of felt like I didn't have a choice at the time. But, cash is just paper. It's so easy to hide. So actually, I did have some cash in my bag this time around. I think I had like 2 or 3 or 4 $20 bills in my bag, and which he didn't find. And that's because it was wrapped up in just paper towels thrown in with my food stuff. So I think there's even just a straight up wrapper in this little bag, and then a granola bar and a bunch of spices. So he probably saw that bag and just, kept on moving. So with cash, yeah, it's easy. And even like little debit cards, credit cards, you could probably hide them in a similar manner, just in things that people wouldn't check. Like, you could put it in your socks and stuff, but I feel like socks are an obvious thing to look at, but I definitely wouldn't just keep it all together. Like, I'm glad I didn't have the cash in the same bag as the laptop, because he just took the whole bag. Like, I also lost some like repair tape in there that was just in there, which obviously he's going to throw away, I would think. But, try not to keep all your valuable stuff in one really easily grabbable thing. As far as the laptop, yeah, that's a hard one to hide. So I'm already thinking, like, I've made my own backpack and I've been making iterations of it for the last couple years. So I'm thinking of the next design actually incorporating like a hidden laptop pocket into the frame of the backpack, like the back panel, sort of make it so it blends in with the back panel. So if you reach in, it just feels like the structure of the backpack, the panel, but really there'll be this like pocket for the laptop, which, only works if you have a really small and thin laptop, but that's all you really should be traveling with, is if you can. So, I don't know. I'm going to play with that idea. I'm going to look online and see if anyone else has played with that idea. Maybe try to incorporate that into the next design. Maybe it'll add a few extra grams, which will be annoying, but better than losing a laptop. So that would be cool. So even if someone were to rummage through the whole pack, they wouldn't even realize you had one in there. Could be a difficult thing to do, but I'll try it. When I got mugged in Peru afterwards, like a month or so later, I had this idea for my phone, so I ended up making my own journal. Like, I, got all the paper and cut them to size and got some leather and YouTubed book binding and just basically made a book just a little bit bigger than my phone. And then at first I took an X-Acto blade, and later I showed it to my dad, and like that broke out the power tools. But just a classic, like hollowing out the pages of a book for the phone. I traveled with it for a while and I thought it might be kind of cool, but it was pretty bulky, and I realized, maybe if they did flip through the pages, like, they'd probably figure it out. But, thinking of stuff along those lines, just think about what your valuables are, the obvious valuables, and how to hide them. Like, 'cause the other thing is sleeping bags can be really expensive, like really expensive, some nice sleeping bags, but it's not a likely thing for thieves to steal, I just don't think many snatch and grab thieves think like that, like, oh, sleeping bag, gonna get some cash for this. No, they're looking for cash, electronics, and stuff like that usually. So yeah, do your best to obscure it, and then, yeah, like I was saying, try to keep some of it on your person if you're worried about it while hitchhiking. Yeah, I guess that's as much as I can say for the rummage thing. The next thing would be pickpocketing, which fortunately has never happened to me. I guess I kind of grew up like going into New York City a lot, and just my dad was always telling me things about that. I think I remember him just saying like not to keep stuff in your back pocket. I don't know. I just kind of grew up just aware that pickpocketing was a situation that could occur, and just have the habits to avoid it. So yeah, obviously if you can get like zipper pockets, that's helpful. Don't keep stuff in your back pockets. Hidden pockets are great if you can either sew them in or find shorts or pants or whatever that has little hidden pockets in there. That's pretty good. And just good habits too. Like whenever I'm on subway or in a crowded situation, I usually either have my hands in my pockets, near my pockets, or I'm just kind of by habit looking down and just being aware of the surroundings. It's also helpful if you are in these busier situations towards your backpack again, not having like exposed pockets that with valuable stuff right at the top of your pack. That's easy for people to get, because if you're on a subway and people are bumping into you and stuff, you sort of become numb to all the shuffling around, and someone could easily be sneaking a hand into your backpack pocket, which you wouldn't feel, and grabbing passport or phone or some stuff that you might have in there. So just be weary of packing your pack like that. Pickpocketing I think is just easier to avoid if you can just have those habits. And also for mugging, which I guess I'll get into because pickpocketing is fairly straightforward. The secret pockets are a little bit helpful too. Pardon me. Like not as good, just because if you are in a mugging situation, they don't have to be sneaky about it. One guy can hold you down while the other has free range over your body basically to pat you down if they need to. So think about that. If you are wanting to make your own secret pocket or you're getting some clothes that have them, think about where you might be patted down, and how best to avoid that. When I did get mugged, after they took what was in my immediate front pockets, they just started screaming Visa at me, and they're speaking in Spanish, and I was wasn't paying enough attention. My Spanish wasn't great, and just hearing Visa, and finally they ripped open the fly of my shorts. I think the deal was they, when they took my wallet, there were no credit cards or debit cards, anything like that, which they probably found pretty unusual, and thought I must have another wallet or something hidden. So yeah, they were onto it enough to rip open my shorts and just check to see if I had some kind of money belt or something like that. So for pickpockets, they're not going to be able to do that. But when you're getting mugged, you got to think about getting frisked and checked like that, and where the better places might be. So maybe inner thigh, in your boxers, sew a little pocket. Again, cash is so easy. You could put a pocket in your waistband or whatever, but cards get a little bit trickier in the mugging situation. But yeah, some clothes and stuff are pretty good for that. Mugging sucks. But you can also have a fake wallet, because sometimes it'll just be one guy, and you got to provide something. So fake wallet thing I've never tried, never done. I do have one or two expired cards kicking around just as dummy little things, so that could work. If you have multiple pockets, you could always have one with just the expired card or fake card, kind of give them that and some cash, and maybe they go away. It's a bummer. So I don't know. I'm going to make this episode kind of short just because I know the quality is not great. But I just want to give a quick little nod to all that little overview, and hopefully it's helpful to some of y'all and help prevent y'all getting robbed. And in the end, it can happen. No matter what you do, it can happen. So it's good just to have a good attitude about it and not be attached to your things so much. Just don't have anything that is just gonna super bum you out and just like ruin your life. You just got to move on. These things happen. You're traveling. Most things that happen to you are going to be amazing. You're going to meet really good people. Hitchhiking is going to be cool. Couch surfing is going to be great. And all kinds of amazing experiences. So, yeah, once in a while, something bad might happen. And you might lose a couple things. But, yeah, life goes on. As long as you don't get an arm chopped off or something, it's not all that bad. So, yep. I'll just bring this episode to an end now. And hopefully the next one be cruising. Have the good microphone back and be back in action. Get all the good stuff going. So, yeah. If you do want to message me, that's just freestyletravelshow@gmail.com. Again, the PayPal, if you want to do that, is hobolifestyle@gmail.com. You can also reach me on Twitter, Free Travel Show, Facebook, Freestyle Travel Show. And then all my personal stuff again, hobolifestyle.com, and then hobolifestyle is the username I have on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. So you can check that out. And freestyletravelshow.com, all that good stuff. So, alright, I am in India, I am in Bangalore, so I'm going to go out and find some good food, have a good time, and maybe I'll get another episode out in India. If not, you will hear from me in Dubai. Like I said, hopefully on a good microphone. We'll see. Alright, love you guys, and I will see you down the road.